If you suffer from nausea, it's absolutely miserable. Nausea is the feeling where you feel like you're going to throw up. You may end up throwing up or you may not. That's that in between ground. It's not a fun place to be. That's nausea. Let's dive in and talk about it. Hello there. I'm Evan Brand, certified functional medicine practitioner. I've dealt with this thing clinically. I've dealt with this thing personally. Nausea just sucks. I mean, I wouldn't wish it upon anybody. I'd probably rather have like a hurt hand or a hurt elbow than I would nausea, because it really affects how can you be normal. I mean, you don't want to be in a car. You don't want to be on a plane. You don't even want to be in your own skin. You just want to go in bed and just make it disappear. Nausea is no fun. I forgot to put that on the list. Maybe number 6 could be something like that. It could be tied into maybe like a motion type issue, like a motion sickness, nausea, but there's probably other root causes underneath that. So let's dive right in. So number 1 over here is going to be gut infections. Now, H. pylori is a very common bacterial infection that affects the stomach acid production, and H. pylori just by itself can cause quite a bit of nausea. Over here, we've got parasite issues. Any type of gut infection resolving, in regards to parasites, these two things often occur together. And so that's something you got to do stool testing to investigate. And then lastly here, SIBO and SIFO. So small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, small intestinal fungal overgrowth. So candida is a big problem, and it can actually create quite a bit of nausea as well because of the toxins, the acetaldehydes. You've got the lipopolysaccharides coming off of these bacteria. So it can really, really be just a gut problem. And that's what makes the most sense, right? Because when you're nauseous, you feel sick to your stomach. So you really need to investigate the stomach. So you really want to look at doing a GI map. This is the number 1 stool test we run on every single client. GI map, like you're mapping the earth. That's what we're going to run. Number 2 over here, we've got food intolerances. So this could be anything from gluten to dairy. I would say nuts possibly is an issue. We'll just put nightshades as well. Nightshades, those are going to be like your peppers, your tomatoes, those are going to be I'd say probably the top 3 issues for people. Gluten, dairy, nightshades, possibly nuts as well. But if you have food intolerances, meaning you're eating things that your body is not reacting well to, that's a problem, and that alone could cause nausea. Simply just cleaning up the diet could be all that you need to do. Now, as a practitioner, we're likely going to be implementing diet changes, and we're going to be running the functional medicine testing. So it's rare that we're just going to find one magic bullet for your nausea. We're likely going to be finding a whole cascade of interventions that we can do. All right, moving back on over here, number 3, we've got poor digestion. Now, of course, poor digestion could be just a simple result of the food intolerances and the gut infections, but in general, we're going to be doing things like increasing hydrochloric acid. We're going to be adding in enzymes. And so I've got a formula called Pure Digest that we've used thousands of times. It's an HCl enzyme blend. That alone may help with some of these intolerances and some of the gut infections, because the gut infections are really going to be sabotaging, almost like putting a blanket on your digestive fire. They really just sabotage the whole process of gut infections. And so it's no good. Gut infections, food intolerances, pure digestion. This is really just one big interconnected issue. And then number 4, we've got toxins. What could this be? This could be heavy metals. This could be mold toxin. This could be mold, and technically mold makes mycotoxins, which really can cause nausea. And then that can be related to what's called mast cell activation syndrome. That's an even bigger issue right there. So this whole thing can get out of control with just a toxin issue. Maybe you're lucky. Maybe you don't have, maybe you've got the diet dialed in. Maybe you're doing paleo. You've already treated your gut. You've already resolved your digestion using enzymes, but you're still nauseous. You really need to look into the toxin issue as well. That may be some type of a gentle binder that we're using, charcoal with ginger and clays and silicas and apple pectins and chlorella. There's many options. I've done videos on binders that you can check out. Number 5 here, emotional distress. I mean, what if you've got like a family member that you really don't like and you don't want to go be around them, but it's Christmas time, so you got to go around them and you're anxious about it, you're nauseous about it. I mean, I've had many, many times where clients have reported family distress, whether it's marriage issues or, external family members that are creating stress. Maybe it's related to the boss. You got to go into this meeting today. You've got to present. You're hoping you're not going to lose your job because of all the shutdowns, and you're nauseous about it. So emotional distress could be a big cause, and I would really just refer to doing something like GABA, maybe some passion flower, maybe some theanine would be great, some type of amino acids that you can do to try to help calm the nervous system down and deal with the emotional distress. Maybe you're going to do tapping where you're doing your acupressure meridians. Maybe you're going to be saying affirmations. I'm going to keep my job. I love my family. We're going to save this marriage. We're going to resolve it. But emotional distress cannot be ignored. And then lastly, we talked about here motion. So it could just be simply do less of it. Reduce the time. Spend more time at home. Spend less time on a boat, on a plane, in a car. And I've also seen those C-bands. C-bands, it's like these little bands that kind of hit these acupressure meridians. Those are helpful. I've experimented with those a little bit and they do seem to help. So look into acupuncture, acupressure, and some of the bands that you can put where they actually are going to hit the acupressure meridians. That's a great strategy. This is Evan Brain signing out talking about nausea. If you need help clinically, click on screen. Would love to help. Take care now. Bye-bye.